Don't worry, Lois. We'll be right by your side the whole time and not outside playing with a balloon. I love you, Balloon. No! I'm coming, Balloon!
Hello and welcome back to Goose and Boots. Today we have a fascinating story to tell. The first episode of Season 20 opens with chaos for the Griffin family, as Lois Griffin and Stewie are seen in the car. Lois is going to drop off Stewie at the school, and like every mother in the world, she is grateful for the break while leaving Stewie in school. However, when she returns, she accidentally hits someone with her car and as a result, hits Doug.
Oh my God, it's a kid!
It's Doug! Nice hit, bitch!
When Doug's parents visited the Griffin family, Lois Griffin apologized for the incident with Doug and gave the defense that she hadn't noticed the little Doug. Doug's father then made a jab saying, "You need to have your eyes checked." When Lois went to the hospital for an eye exam, the doctor informed her that she needed LASIK surgery as an elective vegan procedure since she has far-sighted vision loss. Mrs. Griffin consents to the LASIK procedure. Lois Griffin went for surgery, and the doctor shows up immediately after to declare the procedure a success. The Griffin family is seen smiling while standing next to Mrs. Griffin's bed. When the iPads were taken off and Mrs. Griffin opened her eyes, she couldn't even see the elephant because she was completely blind, and she exclaimed, "Oh my God, I can't see!"
Oh my God, I'm blind!
Don't worry, I too went blind a while back. It was cool, Mr. Griffin added to defuse the issue. The doctor was yelled at by Mrs. Griffin, who yelled, "You said there is low risk in LASIK, but now I am blind." The doctor makes the ridiculous justification that you brought your cat with you on the day of your operation because it poked your eyes during the LASIK procedure and caused you to go blind. The doctor warned the Griffin family that until Mrs. Griffin was used to adjusting to her new life, they needed to take care of both themselves and Mrs. Griffin by feeding her, bathing her, and driving her where she wanted to go. Guess what occurred next? All members of the Griffin family vanish in a flash. Along with Stewie, Chris, and the dog, Mr. Griffin arrived at Doug's office late for work. Doug was waiting for them and reprimanded them for being late and for disrespecting his time. Doug pulled a paper out of his pocket and handed it to Mr. Griffin, introducing it as a note from his father. The letter read, "Mr. Griffin, build this treehouse for my son. He will love it for a year until my housekeeper moves it, even though it has no electricity and running water." And Doug asked him to get started. Mr. Griffin, the most indolent guy on earth, found the assignment to be extremely difficult and labor-intensive. The very next scene of the episode shows Doug's father and Mr. Griffin entering the house, which was undoubtedly constructed using materials from the scenario. By explaining things to Doug's father, Mr. Griffin appears to be explaining how the house was built. According to Mr. Griffin, everything is white as per your request, and I painted some of the most well-known phrases on the wall so you can recuperate from your sodium headache. Doug's father admired Mr. Griffin's work and thought highly of him. As Mrs. Griffin sat on her bed and listened to a streaming service for blind people, Mrs. Griffin heard the streaming and thought the show was very sexy, but she was unaware that it wasn't real. The hosts are simply sitting and drinking tea while reading the scripts and making sexy sounds for blind people to understand that this thing occurs in real life. Mrs. Griffin makes an exhilarating voice. "Oh, the show is really sexy." When Mrs. Griffin's unexpectedly asked her mother if she wanted to go for a poop, Mrs. Griffin became enraged and yelled at her daughter Megan, saying that Mr. Griffin is frustrated by his dependence on others, feeling worthless and helpless. Her daughter tried to calm her down by saying that when she felt the same way, she posted empowering YouTube videos. Mrs. Griffin liked the idea of her daughter, so her daughter switched on the camera. So she started to record a video explaining her emotional journey from being normal to becoming blind before breaking down in tears. When Doug's father texted Mr. Griffin to come see Doug's t-ball game where he would sue them, Mr. Griffin went to the field with Stewie, Chris, and the dog to watch the game. Doug had just begun to play when Mr. Griffin showed him how to hit the ball. Doug then hit the ball and exclaimed, "I did it! Thanks, Mr. Griffin." Meg informs Lois Griffin that your video connected with individuals like you and others and became viral. So it's time to make another video and create a brand. The daughter arrived screamingly in Mrs. Griffin's room at home. Meg produced some ICU t-shirts and was surprised to notice that several individuals were working for the ICU brand in the house. She questioned her mother about what was going on and who these people were. The daughter objected to the concept of being greedy and became enraged with her mother, telling her this was my idea and you can't ruin it. Lois Griffin said, "This is my team working for the ICU fashion, ICU skincare, and ICU healthcare, and that will be a gold mine. I'm not ruining it. Instead, I'm growing it, claiming that I am the one who is blind and suffering. So it is now my right to profit from this and take full control and credit. So Mrs. Griffin released a new video presenting her line of essential oils, ICU. The following morning, when Mrs. Griffin wakes up and opens her eyes, everything appears visibly to have returned to normal. However, Mrs. Griffin wasn't happy because she had grown dependent on the advantages of being blind, including not having to do any cooking or laundry, and most importantly, having a large fan base and earning money from her brand. Therefore, Mrs. Griffin decided to pretend to be blind for the launch of her ICU brand, and repeatedly said, I am blind, throughout the speech. While leaving the stage, Mrs. Griffin did not take the support of her daughter, Meg, and stepped down the stairs smoothly. Meg was noticing this. Miss Helen praised Mrs. Griffin for her amazing speech and for a great inspiration, and requested her to be a guest on the show. Mrs. Griffin feels delighted, since she may even get an opportunity to travel to Hollywood. For compensating Mr. Griffin for Doug's mishap, Doug delivered a list to Mr. Griffin that included tasks like teaching Doug to ride a bike, bake cookies, and other duties. Doug threatened Mr. Griffin that if he did not complete the tasks on the list, Doug's father is about to sue him on the opposite side. Doug threatened the Griffin family that my father will file a lawsuit against you, but when Stewie lost patience, he advised him to sue us instead. He then called Doug's dad directly, but what a climax when Doug's pocket phone rang. Now that Doug had been publicly exposed, it was obvious that Doug was the one making a fool of the Griffin family. Doug had been the one taking notes, giving the Griffin family the task, and threatening to sue them if they didn't complete it. Doug was compelled to explain his actions when Stewie pressed him, and his response abruptly changed to the emotional atmosphere when he said that he had done everything to spend time with the Griffin family because his father never treated him the way he wanted. While preparing for the Helen Disingenuous show, with Meg's assistance, Mrs. Griffin pretended to be blind. Mrs. Griffin was very excited to be famous and wealthy, but she made a mistake by asking Meg what she needed to wear by pointing to the dresses. Now that the drama of being blind has ended, Meg shouts, "Mom, you can see!" And Mrs. Griffin agreed there, but told Meg not to open her mouth. Suddenly, Helen enters the room. She welcomes Lois Griffin and shows a video of Burbank, while Lois Griffin stares at Meg to keep quiet. The show starts and all people are listening to both of the ladies, Helen and Lois Griffin. Miss Helen introduces Lois Griffin to the audience that a blind woman, the founder of ICU and an inspiration for millions. After that, Miss Helen started to ask some questions about Lois Griffin Foundation ICU, that how it was made and what it focused on. Lois Griffin answered all the questions smartly, but at the end when Helen announced that she has a surprise for her, Reese Witherspoon comes on stage holding check for ICU Foundation. Upon seeing her, Lois Griffin shouts excitedly,
Oh my God, Reese Witherspoon! I love her!
Everyone was shocked at how she knew Reese Witherspoon was on stage, and Helen was equally as surprised to learn that she wasn't blind. After expressing her extreme disappointment in Lois Griffin and asking why she did this, Lois Griffin admitted to her greed, explained the situation to Helen in the audience, and apologized to everyone. On a large audience, you must appear in court on a black judge show. The judge delivered the following verdict when Lois Griffin stood trial in Cleveland's court. Lois Griffin, I found you guilty and I sentenced you to pay your roommate for his dog's food. Huh. Lois Griffin resumed her previous way of life, spending time with her family and watching television. The episode focused on Doug being hit by Lois Griffin, which caused so many situations to change that Lois Griffin underwent LASIK surgery and consequently went blind and take advantage of her condition. On the other hand, Doug, who had always felt neglected by his father, wanted to spend time with the Griffin family and therefore devised a massive plan. The episode runs around the two situations. One is about Lois Griffin's greed while she went blind, and the other is about a neglected child, Doug, who wants the attention of someone. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to support our channel. And if you don't like it or want to add something, please leave a comment to let us know. Goodbye and see you soon.